How's it going, guys, and welcome back for a new video. This right here is to quickly talk about scatters. So this right here is going to be a very beginner guide. So if you're looking for 50 block scatters, I do have a video on that. You can go find it. But this one here is for beginners. So right here I built a cannon that's the 200 efficiency fusion. What we're going to do today is that we're going to build a scatter on this bad bar right here. I'm going to make the most simple scatter you can probably imagine. And that is because I want to make sure that you guys know to build just a normal scatter, nothing really serious, but at least make it work, and then you personally can work your way up from there. So today we're going to learn a little bit about these 4 block scatters right here, which is the most easiest scatter you can ever do. The reason I put it right here is that it's the furthest away from the booster, which gives us more time, because as the booster blows up right here, so this booster right here blows this and this over here, and this booster here blows this way, and then the rest blows it this way. So before these 2 here goes off, it gives a little bit more time, because we have to scatter all the way over here, so at least 2 more ticks before those over there explode and affect the scatters. So the further away from the booster it is, the more time you have to take more TNT out. Also, before you go into building your scatter, you need to make sure that your booster is on max delay. You can test that. I already know that's the full repeater right there, but you can go ahead and test it. The next thing we're going to do is that we're going to take advantage of our lovely comparators right here, which, if you don't know what that is, gives us the possibility to do lots of things. So the first one is that it can hold a signal for quite a long time. You can even hold it further if you do it differently and do it like that. So now it can hold it up to 10 full repeaters long, which is pretty crazy. Next up, the comparators also has a possibility to pulse out a lot of TNT like this. So what we're going to do today is that we're going to combine these 2 into a scatter. So the first thing we're going to do is that we're going to need 1 space right here, because if you put your comparators right here, you can't really make it go around it. So 1 space right here and do it like that. Then you're going to put 1 more comparator and put it on a full signal like that. Once you're done with that, you can go ahead and put a repeater or a redstone. It doesn't really matter. In this case, I'm going to use a repeater. Now go ahead and make up your lovely, like that. So now you essentially got your scatter, which is not really going to fill that much. As you can see, it's not really that bad. So now that you got that, you also need the text for it, which is going to be very complicated. I'm just going to move this repeater, don't worry about that. So the first thing you want to do is that you want to count the repeaters. Now I could go ahead and count it real quick, but I'm going to try to make it look, or to try to make it a little bit easier for you. So I'm going to put the text right here that is on our scatter. So we've got a full repeater. There you go. Then we've got one on 3 ticks. And because I say it's 3 ticks, even though it's only 1, 2, it's the repeater itself is 1 tick as well. So we've got a repeater on 2 ticks. Then we've got a repeater on no ticks, but the repeater itself is a tick, so you can just add a tick to that one. Then we've got a repeater on no ticks, so let's go ahead and add that to this collection over here. Then we've got one on no ticks as well, or again just 1 tick. Then we have one on, then we have a repeater on 2 ticks. Because the repeater is a tick and then there's a tick on it, so we need to add 2 ticks. Boom boom. Then we have a full repeater, so let's go ahead and add a full repeater. Now after that, if we go up right here, we have a repeater on no tick, and then we have a repeater on full tick. So there we go. So that's the ticks, and then we have of course the repeater itself into the hammer, which is going to be right there. So now we got all the ticks from the button right here and to all of this redstone up here, and into the scatter, also the hammer. Now we need to minus the ticks right here, so minus 1 repeater, like that. Then we can also minus this one right there, because that's going to be staying there. There we go. And now we can also, if you're going to do it after this one, then we need to minus this one, but I'm pretty sure we can fit it in right here, so we should be good. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 full repeaters. So let's go ahead and add 5 full repeaters. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Put that on tick. There you go. You can easily see I can't end it right there, so I need to move this one a little bit. There you go. There you go. Perfect. Alright, so now that we got all the possible things we need right here, as you can see, 5 full repeaters. This one on 0. minus everything. So this right here is essentially the text that we need for this to work. So in that case, let's go ahead and fire this cannon and see what happens. Okay, great. So now we got a working scatter, which is awesome. The only problem right now is that we actually need to go calculate it, how big the scatter was. So let's go ahead and do that real quick. There we go. Okay, so we've got 40 block scatter right here. This is perfect. Now if you want to get more, let's go ahead and experiment a little bit. Now I showed you guys how you can make a very easy 40 block scatter. But why not go ahead and experiment a little bit with it, and let's go see, okay, well, what happens if I put it on max fucking comparator ticks right here? So now it's just gonna tick out more fucking TNT than Mount Everest. So let's go ahead and see what's going to happen. Okay, so now we got a little bit of TNT blowing up inside the cannon, but that's just fine. I'm sorry about the background noise, my girlfriend is very, very sick, but I kind of want to get this video out for you guys. So let's go ahead and have a look. Okay. That was not the correct, so let's go ahead and do it one more time here. 90 block, that's no. Okay, let's go ahead and have it up again. Okay, so we got 45 block scatter now, so we almost at 50 block scatter. But of course, this right here is not really impressive unless you use plenty of dispensers. If you have 8 dispensers right here as the scatter, that's very impressive. You can get a 50 block scatter. So anyone who's done that, congratulations. Now that we got this working, we also have a problem with something blowing up inside. So let's go ahead and have a look. As you see, it takes out so many that it doesn't really make it, and it kind of blows up. It is a perfect scatter, but something blows up right here, which is very, very sad. Now let's go ahead and see if we can reduce it by 1 tick, see if that helps the problem, or it might become before the hammer and we might end up being fucked. But for this matter, let's go ahead and give it a try. Okay, so we still have TNT going on, so let's change it to 1 more tick. And we're gonna keep testing it until we get the right tick. So before everything else, we need to make sure that there's no TNT like that going around, so reduce it by 1 more. And we can keep doing this right here until we get a good... There we go. And again, I'm very sorry about my girlfriend in the background. Okay, so we still have something blowing up, so reduce it by 1 more tick. You can keep going like this until... It doesn't really matter if it stacks or not right now. We just need to make sure that this works. Okay, it still have TNT blowing up. Reduce it by 1 more tick. Still 1 tick. Here we go. Keep reducing it. Doesn't care if it stacks or not. Still 1 tick. And we're gonna keep doing this. Okay, great. So there, no TNT. So now let's see if it can stack. Because the only problem right now is that we have less tick than the hammer, so it might think that the scatter is now the hammer, because that's going to blow up first. So if you need to make sure that your hammer blows up before your scatter, or else it's just going to try to stack and it's not really going to work. But let's go and have a look. Okay, so as you see, that didn't really work out, because now it thinks that the scatter right now is the hammer, which is, it's really not the hammer, but it thinks that it's the hammer because the scatter blows up first, so it's going to try to stack with the scatter instead, which is not really going to be essential. So let's go ahead and add a full repeater, see if that changes it, because we did calculate all the ticks, or count the ticks, so we need to make sure. Okay, there you go. So now it just goes up a hell of it, but let's try reduce it like that, it might help. I just need to make sure everything here is correct. Yeah, pretty good. But we still have one single one going on right there. Now, because this right here cannot be changed by ticks, as you saw right there, is that if you go 1 back now, it's not going to work. But if you go 1 front, it's going to work, but it's going to leave one TNT in the hammer. That means that it's going to be in between those 2 ticks. So what you need to do, or how you can do this, is that you can do something with this right here. So now you can say, okay, let's go and change that out. See if that helps, because that's gonna give it less signal, but at least one block. Maybe that will help. Okay, nothing blew up, so let's go ahead and add that. Add that to the sand section right here. Also need to add a little bit more wet sand, so there we go. Now let's see if this works a little bit better. Okay, so we need to give it at least one more tick right here somewhere, because we kind of took that away from it. There we go. Then again, now we are pretty much just trying our way forward. Okay, that worked, but now it goes up. Try to, if you then now look at it. Let's go and look at it now. See if it leaves something in the barrel, or else we can add one more tick. Okay, so it definitely didn't leave anything in the barrel. So let's go ahead and add one tick to it. Okay, left one single block in the barrel, one single TNT. So now you can either say that it's fine, but it's not really fine, because you need to wait for it to blow up before you can press the button again, or it's just gonna fuck up. So you can even try to get more distance right here, so like that. So now we got more distance from repeater to comparators, so it's going to give it less signal. There you go. And nothing blew up. As you see right here, we have this right now. I want to reduce this by 1 and just add a repeater to see how close we can get the signal to the comparators right here before it starts leaving something in the barrel again. Okay, nothing. Alright, so let's go and move a little bit closer. So what I'm doing now is I'm changing how powerful the signal is going to be when it ends up right here, because that has a big matter as well. I'm going to show you that in a second. Okay, let's go one more closer. Let's kind of, that's probably a bit too close now. Yep, there we go. Okay, so we need to repeat it right there. Okay, so what I've just did right there is that, let me just quickly explain exactly what that is. So let's go ahead and say this one here is going to be your button, and this right here is going to be I don't know if you can do it like that, you'll see. Okay, so as you saw right now, this signal here has to travel through all this before it hits this one, so it's not going to stand off for that long. But if you put the button here, it's going to stand for way longer. Okay, so what I essentially did with the repeaters is that even though I can't change the scatter leaves TNT in the barrel, and if I reduce it by 1 tick, then it doesn't leave it in the barrel, but the scatter didn't really work out and stuff like that. But if I add a tick, then it does leave it in the barrel. So we're kind of in a situation right here where we need to figure out something in between those 2 ticks, if that makes sense. And that's what I use this for right here. So as you can see now, it doesn't really give a strong signal, but now it does. And that is pretty much in between our repeater ticks right here. So this way we can actually make sure it stops it. So now that we've fixed that, let's go ahead and have a look on our scatter right now. It might be bigger, it might not be bigger. Let's just go ahead and have a look. So I'm gonna stack that 255 up, and let's go ahead and shoot. So we know that it's not going to be left in the barrel, so we can take our eyes away from that. Okay, so this right here is now a good scatter, so let's go ahead and look. Essentially the biggest scatter we have got. So we got 50 blocks right now. Perfect. I just quickly want to say that 50 blocks using this method right here is pretty simple, and you won't be able to one-shot obby. So if you're patching, whip you. So you probably want to go further in and actually make a bigger scatter in another way. But this right here is pretty much just the basic on how everything here works, and how you count the ticks from your button to your hammer and make sure that these ticks right here is not less than that, therefore making it better. Now you can use other ways to power your scatter. You can either use you can do like that. So as soon as the hammer goes off, it's gonna push this one down. Then you can have like a repeater right there or whatever, and it's going to work fine. But this right here, we now made a 50 block scatter, and I'm gonna go over quickly how we did that again. But this right's pretty much how you made a 50 block scatter. Step 1 is that what we did was that we put 4 repeaters right here, the furthest away from the booster, to make sure we get more time before the booster reaches the scatter. Step 2 is that we we added as much delay to the booster as possible, because the more delay we put on this, the more times we'll be able to take TNT out. Step 3 is that we made sure that we counted all the ticks from the bottom and all the way up here and all the way up here, and made sure that that's 5 full repeaters. Then he added 5 full repeaters, and then just played around with it a little bit. Step 4 is we added this right here. This is going to hold the signal and what's going to pulse out the signals. But in between that, we made sure that we have this little system right here, which is going to make sure that it doesn't get a too strong signal, therefore creating more TNT and therefore blowing up in the barrel. So now we got ourselves a 50 block scatter, and hopefully I could explain it the best way I could. Now I could have gone more into details, more into more into different ticks, because there's not only repeated ticks, there's also game ticks and a lot of other shit that I don't want to get into. It's going to be way too confusing. But this right here is pretty much the basic guide for a 50 block scatter for beginners. Now if you want to go more into this, you can add more repeaters and dispensers right here. If you can get something, even if you can get 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, if you can do that right there, that will make sure that you can one-shot obby, which is a big problem for people and their scatters, is that, oops, you won't be able to get rid of the obby because it's 5 hits, and then when you do it, let's say that your barrel is right here, right? So let's just quickly make a little barrel right here, little sweet little barrel. There we go. So now let's say that this right here is your barrel and you're going to stack it up, and if you have this scatter right now that I just showed you, and the scatter goes off, you're going to see that it's going to get rid of this. So therefore you're going to clip on that one block all the time. If you want to be able to one-shot obby so that it's one shot, so boom, one shot, you can just go to the next, you're going to need 5 dispensers or more, all depending on how the durability is on your server. It's normally 5, and it's hopefully 5 on your server as well. If you do that, then you'll be able to go through patches in one swoop. Now let me go ahead and show you a cannon real quick that I quickly want to show you guys, because that right there is my 235 efficiency fusion. Now on that one, I made sure that you can actually, as you can see right here, we have 8 and 8. So 16 dispensers, and this right here creates a big hole, but this is not something you have to worry about right now. If you're a beginner, don't worry about the big scatters that has something like this, because it is very difficult to actually get it to work correctly, and you might be frustrated enough to just like give it up. So don't worry, like we're gonna come into this right here. But if you're a beginner, go with the method I just told you and you should be fine. It's been 18 minutes now almost, so I want to go ahead and end off this video right here. But if you learned something, guys, remember to hit that like button. And if you have any questions about this right here, go ahead and leave a comment down below. I would love to help you guys out and try to see if I can get you guys to understand it. A few times I've actually just came on one shot tip into the guy that needs help and explained everything over Discord. So that's what I like to do. So if you need any help, just leave a comment down below. But as always, guys, and it's the most important, remember to subscribe to my channel. My name is Dexter, and I'm out.